Hello, we meet again. It is Saturday, I believe, the day after Thanksgiving, Thursday, and Friday. I hope y'all didn't buy random shit on Black Friday. But welcome, people, revolutionaries, sheep, wolves, doves, whoever you may be. We are gathered here today to watch me eat mushy vegetables. I think, not to jinx anything, that I might be getting better. I feel like yesterday was kind of a first day coming down from the peak of COVID. I still can't taste much, but we'll see. I'm not going to have high expectations of anything. I don't know if I'll be cooking anything too innovative today. I'm feeling a little bit down. Not really in terms of energy levels, but more in terms of emotional levels. I feel like there's this feeling of, oh, I'm getting better, and then immediately following that thought is, oh shit, I have to take care of all of this that I've been ignoring because I've been sick. So all of this includes how black my slippers looked when I stepped into the shower today, and I was like, oh, that's how dirty my floors are. I'm gonna have to clean this entire place, wash all the bedding, wash all the clothes, wipe down everything, mop all the floors, which is exactly what I was doing right before I got sick. So it almost feels like it's just this, it truly is a never-ending cycle of cleaning when you're alive. But we'll see. I'm not trying to stress myself out, but I am just being a little bit translucent of what kind of thoughts have been passing through my head. I'm trying to, as you guys say, allow myself grace, and I am going to allow myself grace because cleaning can wait. Everything can wait, really. I ate so much crackers today. It made me truly feel a little bit unwell. So we're not going to be making any crackers today because, unfortunately, I love crunchy things so much that I can't control myself, especially in this time of not really being able to taste anything else. The crunchy things have been kind of keeping me going. And I kind of just stood here for an hour in the kitchen this morning after I woke up, crunching through the crackers. And then I also started tasting yogurt, which I can taste fat. I've noticed that I can taste fat. Hey, no spoilers on the Wordle! That's not fair. I don't play Wordle anymore, but that's not fair to anyone else who's playing Wordle, is it? Is it? Shame on you. But I'm thankful. Thank you for deleting it, Adam. That's right. Yes, I will hydrate for sure. Thankfully, I have friends who drop me cornstarch and crunchy things. So we're gonna be tasting these delicious treats that my friend brought me. It is crispy rice cracker with sesame cow tongue. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it looks like it's a Thai product. It is like crispy rice cakes with sesame. I don't know. Is the video really bad today? Guys, I'm just still using my data. I don't have Wi-Fi, so it could be very blurry. You might also want to check your settings. Check your settings to make sure it's not 240 or auto. Just make sure it goes as high as it can. And the ingredients include rice, watermelon juice, 8% watermelon juice, sugarcane juice, 3%, sesame, 1.5%, salt, 0.25%, and palm oil, 1.25%. And then there's like some food coloring, 0.01%. We know it's a little potato quality, but come on. Come on, I'm a little potato quality. Before we go any further, I saw one of you ask me about the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the beginning of chapter 20 of The Floating Opera by John Barth. So this is a book that I picked up on one of my many trips last week to the big reuse in Gowanus, Brooklyn, and I love it. I got it because the first page reads this: Todd Andrews. I woke up that morning, then slugged my rye, looked around my room, got quietly out of bed, and dressed for the office. I'm sure I splashed cold water on my face, rinsed my mouth out, wiped my reading glasses with toilet paper, rubbed my chin to persuade myself that I didn't need shaving, patted my hair down in lieu of combing it. It was at some moment during the practice of this ritual, the instant when the cold water hit my face seems a probable one, that all things in heaven and earth came clear to me, and I realized that this day I would make my last. I would destroy myself on this day. Next up on the agenda, we will take a bite out of yesterday's crostata tart. I already had some this morning, but what's the harm in tasting it again? The texture of candied quince is so lovely. It tastes like dried fruit. Next, we will eat our vitamins. I'll take a D. I'll take a C. I think I took them again this morning. But guess what? I haven't seen the sun in 5 days. Which also means I haven't gone to the gym in 5 days. Which also means that my mental health is going to dip real soon as I'm more lucid and my muscles are being absorbed by my body again, which is fine. We'll just build them back up. The life of Sisyphus. It is one that is known to us all, and yet we all struggle with. If that's not meta, I don't know what is. All right, we have radish, we have carrot, we have chickadee bits, we have a lot of vegetables and bones, and we also have the soup that I kind of dread eating because I hate the texture of it, because I can't taste anything. So, let me just start with whatever I find palatable enough. And I will warn you, I don't want to turn on the stove or wash pots today, so I'm going to be using my microwave, which means this might make our connection go really wonky when I turn it on. So you've been warned. I can taste some things very limitedly. I can't really taste most of the flavors that I want to taste. So. while I can, I'm going to continue eating huge slices of ginger that I have in here because they don't seem to bother me very much while I can't taste things. And ginger is supposed to be very good for me. So, as I said in an Instagram post, I'm trying not to be too down about the changes that have happened. Much in the same way when I learned the best way to move forward with things you don't like is to just accept and operate differently, like when Mom died. So I'm not trying to be too bummed about my lack of taste right now. I'm just trying to ride it, right? It's just a new sensation of sorts for me to not be able to taste, which, again, is a sort of superpower if you allow yourself to look at it that way. So I'm allowing myself to look at it that way. That's all. Now we're gonna microwave. Isn't that fun? Is your connection going cray-cray? The thing about this whole losing sense of smell and taste is keeping it in perspective that things could always be worse. Like, I'm not actually more clear. What the fuck? See, guys, sometimes you think that it's gonna be bad and it actually is better. So, okay. Let me not say more shit. Let me just show you how this happens in real life. Weird. This is weird. Life is weird. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Aaron brought me a bag of chips. I have been savoring it. I can't smell anything except oiliness. Like, I can't smell the sour cream and onion flavor. I can smell the friedness of it. So I can smell and experience fat, but not flavor per se. I can taste the salt, but I can't taste the sour cream and onion. As for these crackers, they do taste a little burnt to me. Gelatinous mess of daikon, seaweed, ginger, and chicken scraps. Chicken scraps. How'd she come up with that? I don't know. She is a weird one. Wow. So, what we can do is watch me eat this and you ask me questions, or you just watch me eat this. Because existentially, I don't have enough energy today to do much else, so you're stuck with this. We can pull like a French New Wave film where I just stare into the camera as I do mundane shit for 2 hours. And there'll be like a surprise plot twist shock at some point in those 2 hours. And then you'll be on the edge of your seat for the remainder of the time. wondering if that kind of shock is going to happen again, or you're just going to sit there shocked out of your mind again for the rest of the film because you could not believe what happened. I don't know if I have a shock for you, though. It's like a lottery. Anyway. Feel free to ask me anything you want now. I'm paying attention to the comments for the first time. The ginger tastes like non-disturbingly bitter to me, but it does not taste that spicy. That's a little hot. The daikon is very smooth and creamy. It's almost melting in my mouth a little bit. It almost feels like winter melon, if you've ever had Chinese winter melon soup. Hi, Denver. For all of you who are watching the World Cup, you do know that thousands of people died building that stupid shit, right? And that they're making people play soccer in the desert. And that they're air conditioning the desert. Why is our world so fucked? I don't get it. Okay, one bite was hot and the other bite was cold. So, not only is my oven uneven, the microwave is also uneven. It's not similar to a bitter melon fruit. It's more similar to a watermelon crossed with a zucchini. Imagine that. Now we sizzling. Yeah. I agree, but I don't think we as a country has a right to critique Qatar on human rights abuses. I think we should always critique any country with human rights abuses. Just because we live in a country that commits human rights violations doesn't mean that we can't call out other nations committing same crimes, similar crimes, worse crimes. Call them all out, right? Call them all out. We're not playing misery poker here. We're just saying this shit is bad. British people can also call other people out while also calling yourself out. Or not. It doesn't matter, right? I'm just ranting. It's not like I'm doing anything, really. At this point, I've realized that I can't really do much, right? With my anger. My anger amounts to nothing in the face of capital. So I'm just a useless wet bread disintegrating in the gutter after a global warming storm passes through. R.I.P. all of us. It was fun being hopeful for a while. Yeah, on my Instagram, somebody suggested a nose piercing, and then I asked people, do you want to see septum or nostril? I've always hated my nose, but I'm also of the camp that don't want to do plastic surgery in terms of reconstructing my body parts, but I would like to do body modification in terms of adding stuff to my body. So, septum or nostril. I can either look like a cow with a septum or a pirate with a nostril. I just don't quite think that I'm ready for a nose piercing yet, you know? There's no nose bone here. There is cartilage. There's cartilage in your septum. It's soft. The nose bone is here. It stops here. The rest of this is all cartilage. It's the same stuff that's in your ear. So if you can pierce these parts of your ear, you can probably pierce this part. That's true. I can get a faux nose ring. Low commitment. Yes, on a philosophical level, we are all implicated in other people's suffering. For sure, I agree. But we're not all implicated in the same way. Some people do more. The red and black sign on the side of my fridge. It's actually blue and red. It says, all I want is a flexible workplace. Hearst Union. Because Hearst is refusing to put into the union contract flexible workability for people who have since moved away, who don't want to come into the office for practical reasons and efficiency reasons. Makes no sense in a post-COVID world to enforce everybody to go back to the office, does it? Animal Olympics? Never heard of it. Yes, Condé Nast is unionizing. I don't know if they've been formally recognized yet. I'm sure they're just being as much of an asshole as Hearst is about busting that union, because all media is the same. But definitely support the Condé Nast union. Lala's fine. I called her on video call today for a couple of minutes. She saw me. My friend is actually traveling abroad in Copenhagen right now, visiting her friend, and she says nobody there is masked. Nobody. Why are all these media publications assholes? Because they want power and money. The same reason why countries are assholes. Why not abuse people when you can? I've gotten 3 tattoos. And yes, I will be getting another one at the end of December. I got 2 piercings this May, and there is a keloid on the back of one of them. It's very sad, but I think my body hates being pierced, which is another reason why I don't really want to pierce my nose. I like both color and black and white tattoos. They're fine. I have both. I would say brown sugar for a pumpkin pie because condensed milk can really fuck with the water ratios of your filling. But if you have a good conversion, condensed milk sounds amazing. This is a new kitchen. It's not Woodside anymore. Everybody thinks I just remodeled my kitchen. It's fascinating. I am in a new apartment, y'all. I haven't done a new life tour. I like to enjoy the privacy of my home for a while. But if you go on my Instagram, there are photos of the other rooms. I love the new place so far. You know, maybe I'm in denial, but I don't miss my old life. My old kitchen was like what was iconic. Maybe. The old June was probably iconic too. But here we are, living and changing. A lot has changed in my life. So it kind of feels good to change almost everything about it. Because I think what really was more painful than I thought was holding on to parts of the past while trying to move into the future. What do you mean old life pre-mom's death? Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of like a BC AD split for me. The time before mom died and the time after mom died. Mom dying has changed me so much. Both unconsciously and consciously. And I think for the first half of grief, I was kind of hesitant to the change. Because changing meant acknowledging and accepting that mom had died. But then I realized that that was probably the healthiest thing to do for myself. And to be honest, I didn't really like who I was before mom died that much. I thought I liked her. But then all these little holes started getting bigger. And I was like, interesting. Adam Curtis. Yeah, there's a lot more freedom here now. Both Aaron and I have space now to be ourselves. Pandemic changed me a lot. Like, my mental health was broken. Like so many of us, the pandemic upset so much of our routine, our expectations, our goals, our mental scapes of what our lives would be. It shattered all of our expectations and plans. And a lot of people were grieving for a very long time for all the things that were put on hold and things that had expired and things that felt like they had just sailed past us. And I did too. And I was kind of just starting to crawl out of that depth to try to re-immerse myself back into a routine lifestyle that felt like we had finished COVID, just to like test the waters and see if it's safe to come out of our little tiny burrows yet. And then mom died. And at that point, like, there was no burrow to return back to. Kind of just felt like my entire shelter was just blasted apart. And I was subject to all sorts of terrain and inclement weather, and I made it. But after you've lost your psychological home of sorts, with no real aim or destination or answer in mind, no compass of any sort, it changes you. You do so much thinking that you can't really process in the moment because everything is just hitting you while there's no structure. And so you can't really rebuild because you don't even know what materials you have, and you don't really know where you can settle. And all up inside you is just, well, nothing is the same, nothing is the same, nothing is the same. And then, I think for me at least, I won't speak for anyone else, when you don't have an enclosure to return to and bound yourself into, the borders of your selfhood begin to fray. You begin to get washed away into the weather. And you not only have become unmoored, you begin to disintegrate. And at first it's terrifying because you're like, whoa, I have nowhere to be. And I am not even sure who I am anymore. So what do I do? And you keep trying to do the things that you used to think were the right things to do, but the right things that used to feel right don't feel right anymore. And at a certain point in that storm in which you're trapped in and is all around you that you have no shelter from, a part of you that you might have not ever had to use or lean on begins to surface. And because you're so exhausted from this upsetting adventure that you never thought you would go through and definitely didn't sign up for, you let it take over because you ran out of battery to exert any sort of decision. And in a way, you were glad that there is a part of you that is capable of moving you forward, even if directionless. Because to move somewhere feels better than to stay in the middle of nowhere. And when I felt rested enough, I pulled my two selves and huddled them together and sat with them And I think I did all of this quite unconsciously. And I let them talk to each other. And we discussed together what seems to work best for us now. And who we want to rebuild ourselves into. And that was very much a process that was, I'm gonna use this word that everybody's been fucking using, and it's been used to sell you shit, but it was life affirming. I felt a sort of agency that was kind of thrusted upon me that then I owned to define the parts of myself that I wanted more pronounced. And in pronouncing this new selfhood, or rather this evolved selfhood, I became more and more certain and confident in the choices I wanted to make for myself. And I think this process has been very healing, because I think, and I only half realized this all along, and maybe now by speaking it into the air here, I can reify it for myself and make it a truth. I think in those conversations with my two or more selves, the self that embodied mom's voice and mom's heart and mom's being was also present. And I also think that there was not only just one part of mom that was present, but two parts of mom as well. So at the very minimum, two parts of me, two parts of mom, all together in this conversation of who I will nurture myself into. The two parts of mom being the part of mom that always nurtured me, the mom that I saw, the mom that mommed, the mom that sacrificed, the mom that gave, the mom that loved, the mom that endured, and the mom that just absorbed and absorbed until she couldn't anymore. The mom that tried to protect me all her life until she couldn't anymore. And the second mom that was present was the mom that she ignored herself and denied herself. The part of herself that she put on the back burner because she had to mom. And so a lot of the times when I make decisions now, I think about that invisibilized mom. I think about how I am an echo of her in so many ways, an echo of my grandmother too. And I think about the various lives that she could have led had she not had me, had she not married potentially the wrong man, had she made another choice and led another life, what desires she might have wanted to pursue, what choices she might have chosen instead. what happiness she might have given herself in return. And I think I've developed a pattern of hearing the voice of the mom that mommed, taking her advice more now that she's dead than I did before she died, but still not all the time. And also paying respects and honor, and in a way reincarnating the invisibilized mom who never got to get behind the steering wheel and drive her own life. And I feel like a lot more of my choices now are a sort of dedication to that back burner mom. Fantasizing and projecting what choices she could have made and making them. And hopefully in the process finding joy. I love both moms. In different ways. And I wish I knew the second mom more. I wish she didn't hide herself so much. Yeah. I have so much food. Okay, snack time. After mom's death, I've basically usurped this power to be a little bit of a tyrant in terms of shaping the narrative of who mom was and is. Because she is not here to speak for herself anymore, and I, in turn, get to project all of my regrets, rewrites, fantasies, and hopes onto her. Who is she? I don't know. But I guess I'm constantly writing her into being. Is it accurate to who she actually was? No idea. I don't know how I'm gonna seal this back up so that it doesn't get stale. Now I'm worried. Here, let me show you what it is before I bite into it. All right, okay. Wow. It's like a deliciously, slightly oily rice cake with a thin ass layer of barely soft caramel, like a thin ass layer. Like when you were poor and you only had one bottle of school glue to go between you and your 4 siblings. And you would put the tiniest squiggle on and you would swipe that construction paper all over and let it set so that you don't have to use a fat ass glop of glue. That's how thin that caramel is. And then you have these little toasty sesame seeds on top. I can start to taste some of the sesame seeds because they have fat in them, and I can taste fat. I can taste a little bit of sugariness from the caramel layer. And they are very good. I don't think there's chocolate. It's just sesame seeds. Yum. Thank you, Dan, for the gift. It's amazing. I love it. I'd like to think I made Mom proud, even though I frustrated her to death on some occasions. I think she was proud of me because she said it many times. So I don't doubt that. I just always hope for the fact that she would have let herself experience more joy rather than always trying to buy it for others with her own emotional coin. Because seeing her spend her money on other people who truly didn't really love her back the way she loved them, myself included, is heartbreaking. Yes, I've requested that Grandma crop all of my t-shirts now because she likes baking projects. Sorry, she likes sewing projects. She's very good at sewing. So it's something to occupy her time with. So I gave all of my t-shirts to her for her to crop. I'm not extremely sad that Mom's not here anymore. I think that part of grief is past me now. And there's still a little part of me that feels guilty when I say that. It doesn't mean that I don't love her. It just means that I've chosen to celebrate her offerings rather than mourning her absence. Fred is not here. Let's eat another one. Let's hear it. Crunch. I think Mom will like this one too. It's not too sweet. It's got sesame. Why are you guys so obsessed about asking me and Aaron? It's not like I don't talk to him. He just video chatted with me and Fred today. I don't miss living with Aaron, no. I don't know if he misses living with me. Probably not. I think we've had enough of each other over the 2.5 years of quarantining together for this fucking pandemic in 490 square feet. Does that disobey your mental expectations of what people are supposed to feel after they don't live with each other anymore? I'm sorry. We both now have more space to live our own lives and to bring other people in. At the end of the day, aren't we all public figures? In the age of digital media and social media, we're all kind of public figures, right? You can get famous on Twitter overnight. Crunch. Crunch is amazing. If any of your COVID-infected friends lose their sense of smell and taste, give them Crunch. They will thank you. I will thank you. I hope to soon fold back into the fold of normal people. Quote unquote normal people. The best part about internet fame is that once you stop making content, people forget about you. As they say, the collective memory of a fruit fly. Alright, fine, I'll heat up some of this disgusting soup. On day 5, you get extremely depressed. Apparently, that's what's been happening. There's a comment here that says, I've never been in a relationship, so it's fascinating to hear other people's relationships. It seems like something that is unattainable and mysterious to me, so I'm naturally inquisitive. I understand that. But you also must know that different people have different relationships and different experiences in those relationships, so I'm happy to share mine. But I guess I'm still myself feeling very sensitive to being asked about this change in my life by so many people all of a sudden. And I also feel like it's a lazy move because I've spoken about the split in many lives, but people are just coming on here saying, hey, I've been missing everything. What's going on? Fill me in. And I'm like, no, you do the work yourself. I'm not. The evidence is there. You're just too lazy to look for it. So that's my reactive brain logic happening there. I have provided you with the material to understand, oh my god, look at the weird heating on this microwave. That's hot. Ow. Okay. Forceful but uneven. But I'm happy to answer questions about my relationship as it pertains to me. I won't speak for Aaron because, like, I would love to respect his privacy and his opinion. I can't speak for another person, even though we have been together for over a decade. But I can give you my perspective and my analysis of myself. I open the floor up to questions. And as always, I reserve the right to not answer if I don't want to. I did not have any sort of game console growing up, no. Have I watched any good movies? Not recently, but I really want to finish watching The Patient. What was your relationship with food yesterday, and what's your relationship with food today? I will be honest with you and say that I've been kind of triggering myself about my binge habits when it came to the crackers. Because not being able to taste has hyper-focused my attention towards textures. I just keep eating for the texture. And I did feel very sick for the past day and a half because of how many crackers I've been eating, and my stomach has not been handling it well on the other end. TMI, maybe. You asked, sorry. So that's that. I'm trying to regulate, but, you know, if you're a person who has dealt with a history of disordered eating, you know that it's not as simple as, well, bam, I'm healed. It's something that revisits you again and again, and it's not only the action and the behavior that revisits you, but also the mental spirals that visits you, and the emotional toll, and the psychological strain, and the self-blame, all of that. It's all together. It was a mutual breakup, I think, for sure. I think we had just, it wasn't a relationship by the time we broke up. Let's put it that way. I love going to museums. The Met Museum is unbeatable, but I love most museums that don't cost an arm and a leg. I don't want to answer questions about my dad because I want to respect his privacy, so please stop asking about my dad. Yeah, eating disorder during COVID was intense. And eating disorder during COVID, working in food media, was intense. Having my fridge chock full of food all the time was so psychologically, emotionally, physically, everything draining. It was intense. I feel weird about the days, sorry. Oh, IBS comes on with COVID? That kind of makes sense. Shit. Okay, that's good to know. I also have been eating a lot of chocolate, and I almost feel like I might have a cavity now. I'm not joking, unfortunately, because I've been eating chocolate for a few weeks now, and then amped up the chocolate consumption during COVID because chocolate was one of the few things that I could taste. And I might have a cavity now. I don't know. That's also been on my mind. What have you done to cope with your binging? I've been following an Instagram account called It's Ryan and Nicole. She's a therapist who has experience with binge eating disorder herself, and I find her content very helpful. I also follow Bunny Michael on Instagram. They do a lot of, like, I'm gonna call it self-help, but it's a lot of reframing. It's a lot of CBTing, and CBDing, I guess, for the brain. So Instagram does help sometimes to show me other folks' perspectives. Try not to judge myself too much. You've heard all of this advice before, but it's just a matter of when your brain clicks and you can actually do it for yourself. It's also not a one-time thing. You don't succeed one time. It's a lot of little strings of wins and losses, of success and defeats, and you just have to kind of keep your end goal in mind of why you don't want to be in the cycle anymore, and knowing that berating yourself for one fallback or one misstep is not going to do anything to get you towards that bigger picture. How is your skin flare-up? Horrible. Like, my hands have been terrible. Like, they're so bad. I don't know what to do about it. Do you feel that the resentment that you hold toward yourself due to your mom's sudden passing affected your relationship with Aaron? I think there are certain events that happened after Mom died that made me develop new perspective on what our relationship was providing me with and who I was versus who he was, and how I was not going to experience any further growth in that dynamic. Will Budget Eats continue in my new kitchen? I didn't have so much grace over the last couple of years. Am I single? I guess so. I guess that's what the world would call it. Hot girls have tummy issues, lol. Where did that meme come from? The hot girls with tummy issues meme. Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that you had a heart attack and then COVID a week later. Jesus fucking Christ. Some people really just get the shit end of the stick. Yeah. My eczema is lichen planus. That's the specific term for that condition of mine. It is autoimmune. I have had a history of autoimmune issues, so COVID is going to hit me hard on so many different fronts. Now, during, after, all of it. I got a new bed. I got a Dream Cloud mattress per a suggestion by a viewer. It's great. The frame is from Amazon. Yeah. You can call yourself hot, Wendy. You can call yourself anything you want, because we live in a postmodern world and nothing has any intrinsic meaning anymore. I did my first Instagram live today where I read from that floating opera book. I don't know if anybody here saw that live. I don't think many people attended that live. I don't know how to do Instagram lives, but I thought, what the hey, I'm gonna read a book on Instagram live. Fun fact, I don't got Fred. Who hasn't heard about the Scandinavian comfort culture? I just don't know how to pronounce it right. Is it Higa? Never suffer if you have furikake. Sorry. Reading comments off of my cell phone is very difficult sometimes. Who else is sick in the crowd? Oh, Huga? Really? Language is weird, man. On a deserted island with power, Instant Pot! Vitamix ain't gonna cook shit. Instant Pot can cook a tree bark into edible stuff. But who's gonna give me electricity is the problem. $15. How big is a jar of chili crisp? I am kind of still near the fly zone, but I've been here for almost 3 weeks now, and it has not been unbearable the way Woodside is. I think there's one more episode of the food tour. How did you find an identical apartment? The kitchen is so identical that it was the only room that Fred felt comfortable in, believe it or not. Even this kitchen didn't just trick y'all, it tricked my cat. I would love to go thrifting, Linda. Anytime. I was telling Ram that I really miss thrifting. It was like the one thing that I wanted to do on my second day of being sick. Or was it Thanksgiving? I don't remember. It might have been Thanksgiving. Yeah, so Fred is back in Woodside now and he's very happy there. YouTube income on this channel is definitely not enough to live in New York. I'm gonna have to start pumping content out of my assholes. 2 assholes if I have it. If I want to make enough of a living to substantiate my living costs in New York. I would not get a dog while I'm in New York. I'm gonna have such a stomachache after I finished all of this soup. All right, do you guys have any more hard-hitting questions? I don't drive because pretty sure I'm gonna have to go fart after this live is over. So I'm just being a courteous host and holding in for you right now. Fred was terrified for the first week, but he eventually came out of hiding. He was just afraid at the old place, but here, he was a demon. I did not sleep for 10 days. Doc, we won't have a cook-along tonight because I don't want to cook. I'm sorry. I also have so much food to eat that I've already cooked. It's like giving me anxiety. I'm just trying to move through it. I really don't want to learn how to drive, no. I will kill people. I will kill people if I drive. I do not want to drive. Yeah, he was sick with ringworm when we first got him. He was terrified. He was like 8 pounds and now he's 14. Bye, Godzilla Pie. I like living in New York. I didn't always. I've had a lot of love-hate. Wanted to move out for a long time. Discovered that other places just don't have food diversity like this. They also don't have public transportation like this. They're also not walkable like this. So for my current skill set and desires in life, New York is the best option. I can see myself potentially raising a child if it's adopted, and if I have a partner who is going to make enough income with me together to raise a child together. Otherwise, no. Fred has stopped using the inhaler. We moved him off of it. He hasn't had an attack in half a year, so seems fine. In the new year, I will be looking for jobs, for sure. I want to think about what else I can do with my life. I'm sure there's more out there, right? Should you have the income tomorrow, would you adopt a child alone? I don't think so. I think I would fuck that child up so bad. I need another person to be a secondary voice, so that the child is more balanced. I would traumatize that child on my own, for sure. I know myself well enough to know that I would have that impact on a child. Are you currently dating or open to it, or are you staying single right now? I'm always open to life, guys. Whatever life has to give, I'm open to it now. Especially after Mom died, I'm just like, sure, what you got? Show me what you got. Mom dying broke a part of me, and I think the way that we as a society think about the word break and the functionality of breaking something to be automatically negative. And I think at first it did feel negative to me too, but breaking is also a sort of liberation. So I feel liberated now. I went on Hinge for 10 days. I burnt out of it. But here's the thing about online dating culture. A lot of people, myself included, don't know what they want. And when you have a lot of people coming together, not knowing what they want, it tends to breed a lot of miscommunication because everybody's still searching for themselves. And unless you are energized enough and equipped enough to deal with that mess of unknowing, people like me burn out really quick. I also have a very impulsive attachment style. So I could get attached to someone very quickly and not have them reciprocate that. And then I would get very crushed. And at that point, I burn out. Because I tend to be a person who kind of puts their all into something when I feel like that's something that I want. And so all of the eggs in one basket and the basket gets dropped is a very tiring cycle to be in. Do you ever talk to Tess? Sometimes, but Tess is a very busy woman. What was the favorite thing your mom ever made you? I don't know. The first thing, listen, everything that mom made me is things that mom made me, so I love it all, right? But I think the first thing that came to mind when you asked me that was tomato and egg. It's just a simple thing that she always made me, and it always tastes a little bit different, but it was always something that mom made. And she had a routine where she would give me the tomato and egg that week, and she would say, how does it taste? And I would be honest with her. Sometimes the tomatoes tasted watery because the tomatoes here are shit, and sometimes it wasn't salty enough, and sometimes it had delicious garlic in it, and I would say, that's really good. And the juice that seeped out of the tomatoes that combined with the creamy, yolky friedness of the scrambled eggs, poured over the rice or over the cauliflower that she would stir fry for me, like that combination was magical. So yeah, lucky for me, it's a very simple dish to recreate. It'll never be mom's, but it'll be mine. Is happiness universal or a matter of perspective? Happiness is empty. So you decide what the answer to that one is. If you Google tomato and egg delicious, I have a recipe. Guys, Google is your friend. Don't ask me for shit until you've Googled it, please. Do me a favor. Do everyone a favor on the internet. I don't have any cookbooks written yet. Do you fear death or look forward to it? I used to think I looked forward to it. I went through a suicidal phase where I was very depressed, and I was like, fuck it, one day I'm gonna die, it'll be great, can't wait, it'll be the eternal rest, and I don't have to do any of this bullshit anymore. But I think at the end of it, we all fear it, because it's not really about being deaded, it's about being alone. None of us like being alone. Not forever. Of course I regret not spending more time with my mom before she passed. She passed during the fucking pandemic. I didn't spend time with her at all for 2 years. That's what hurt the most. More soup, because I want to give myself more pain. Let's go.
You know what? I think the soup is also giving me stomach pains because not only is there milk in here and I'm lactose intolerant, there's also sweet potato in here, which also gives me gas. So now everything is starting to make sense. I know you guys always say that you watch these lives for me, but it's always fascinating to see that like the numbers don't fluctuate that much when I cook versus when I don't cook. But I guess thank you for being here and listening to me rant. um, I don't know if death is the beginning. You're asking all these deep questions that I ain't got no answer to. Girl, who do you think I am, God? Ain't nobody want to be God right now. Have you seen this shit? No one can fix it. Yeah, I would love to take this show on the road, Linda, but I got grams. So now every time I have to go somewhere, I have to tell her I'm sick, and then she'll be worried to death. I have to play hooky with Grandma. That would make me a shit granddaughter, wouldn't it? Yeah, fuck my 95-year-old grandma. Let's go to Kansas, meet Linda, thrift, and do a live there. I don't know, Linda. We might have to wait until Grandma's dead. Not that I'm hoping that she's dying. But, like, what is she living for at this point? Honestly. Just saying. I would love to go to Dumpster Aldi. Are you kidding me? That is my dream. Dumpster dive at Trader Joe's. Dumpster dive at fucking Costco. Does Costco throw out shit too? I feel like these companies have been doing a better job of not throwing out their shit and donating them instead. But is it actually just all for show? Sometimes I feel like they be lying to the people. Safety concerns in the area. Well, Salt and Straw is like all over down the West Coast, right? That's sad though. Love Salt and Straw. Look at how pretty this fur kake is. It's like pink, you can't see it. I am kind of nihilistic, you're right. I used to say that I'm a nihilist, like I'm a pessimist, but I'm not. I'm just pessimistic and I'm nihilistic. And those terms have different intonations, I think. June, you should cook and sell your treats. I'd buy. Yeah, but where do you live, though? Where do you live? You don't live in Jackson Heights, Queens, do you? Also, a lot of people were like, you should get a P.O. box. And a lot of people were like, you should have a Patreon. And a lot of people were like, I would give you money. And then yesterday's live, I was like, who wants to give me money on my Venmo for a P.O. box? And nobody volunteered. So everybody says they would do shit. But do they actually? Will they actually? I don't know. I don't trust none of y'all. should terminally ill patients be able to choose death? I think all people should be able to choose death. Period. No conditionals involved. Because if you don't allow the ability to choose death at any point in time, you are by default admitting that we are all just here as prisoners. Slaves to existence. Dialectically pessimistic. All right, big words, honey. Oh no, yeah. People will always waste food. They're just fucking lazy. They don't want to work out a system where they can actually save the food, and it's part of capitalism. Do you know how much the fancy brands dump out when they don't sell their shit? Like, I don't know, fucking Chanel and Gucci. They'll just slash their purses that they can't sell and dump them instead of donating them, because donating them would mean that, I don't know, it gets into the hands of poor people, and God forbid they ruin their brand and can't sell their handbags for $800,000 a piece. Fuck that shit. Fuck anything that has class built into it and makes you think it's normalized. That's why I say fuck the Michelin Guide. Even though the Michelin Guide is giving Michelin stars to like hawker stalls and $1 sign places, they're still classifying things. Why do bad things happen to good people? Because chaos. We can't define good or bad either. We're gonna have to go through a whole philosophy course for the next 8 years to even get to that question being answered. And then even within luxury brands, you have the high fashion couture line, and then you have like the ready to wear line for the bougie but not elevated. All of that striation of class. Every single system a caste of whether or not you're worthy. It's tiring, guys. One of my tattoo artists, I can show you her tattoo actually, because I'm feeling generous. All right, let me show you. Wait, you can't see. All right, this tattoo is by Human Rind. They are amazing. Their name is Angel. Human Rind posted a story, a reel. They reposted a reel that was explaining how in this economy, a lot of us have jobs for the social status. And I think that is so true. The social status that is inherent in so many jobs is also a way of like separating us into castes. Who's worthy? Who's working the jobs that are worthy of being celebrated? And they're all so fleeting. We had so many essential workers. And who are they now? Do we care about them now? We still pay them like shit though. They're still understaffed. But yeah, Human Rind is amazing. I want to get another tattoo from them. They do amazing color work. They also do amazing black and white work. Or just, I guess, black ink work. It's not really white. They do fantastic detailing If you love the look of latex boots, holy hell. One day, when I muster up enough pain tolerance to get that much ink filled in, I'm gonna get some latex boots. Is communism a solution, or is any ism one that falls into hierarchy by default? The latter. Because we're human. We're not ideas. Communism is an idea. We're not. I picked the tattoo. Human Ride is an artist who does mainly flash, and you don't get to see the flash book until you're in the studio, so I picked it on the day of. It just spoke to me. It kind of represented a coy but not shy femininity that I think Mom could have nurtured in herself had she been more encouraged to embrace contemporary feminism than what her upbringing allowed her to. And it represented a part of me that I wanted to grow as well. So I think by choosing to put it on my body, I was reifying it into existence and breathing life into it. And I guess physically manifesting a role model for myself. An imagined side of my mom combined with a hopeful future for myself. If that makes sense. The pain on my tattoos vary greatly. On the ribs, anywhere below the belly button, extremely fucking painful, like somebody cutting me with a knife. Is wealth redistribution morally correct? I think in order to answer that question, we would need a society that values morality first. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now? I will be 53. I don't know, fucking living in Germany, I hope. Maybe that's where I'll retire. I don't have new hopes for the new year. No hopes, no disappointment. I'm eating some creamy soup and crackers and furikake. Why Germany? 2, I've always fantasized about Germany. It seems like the European equivalent of Japan, but like a little less oppressive, quietly oppressive. And I also just saw these shorts on YouTube from a user that I can't remember anymore, but she's brilliant. She's Vietnamese and living in Germany, and she has a German boyfriend, and like, God, it seems great. I would love a German boyfriend. German boyfriend. She's making German boyfriend sound so appealing. What's more important, love or money? Neither. They both replenish you and destroy you in one fell swoop. They're both ideas. Both love and money are ideas, and they are also constructed fantasies that have been packaged for us in so many different variations for us to desire them and work ourselves until we're dead for them. They are illusions that we have reified and now we treasure as a communal delusion. Thank you for her name, Yuan Nin. I like both love and money, but I don't like to fantasize about them. I like to have just enough of them so that I feel like I'm not hungry. And know that they are there to satiate you, and you are not there to satiate them, because you can never satiate love or money. Both love and money are just one part of the equation of feeding yourself. They will not feed all of you. Is capital, you're just stock full of these questions. Jesus, is capital punishment ever appropriate? That is like a very philosophically faulty question, because we need to define what appropriate is. I would say no, never. Because there is nothing appropriate about a world in which we don't have consistency. Our terms are always subject to change. So who the fuck gives a, nobody gives a crap if it's appropriate or not. Like we were just talking about cancel culture the other day, and how like we can cancel someone but they don't actually get canceled, right? So what the point? Dan, you missed the crunchy stuff. I already ate 2 of them and now I'm like really full. Do you want me to eat another one? You can request me to eat another one if you want, since you gifted it. It was amazing. I loved it. Thank you. Oh, I think I need something hot. I think I need something really hot. When was the last time I was happy? Girlfriend. Don't ask shit like that, please. How am I supposed to answer that? The last time I was happy was when I ate those crunchy snacks that Dan gave me. Because it exceeded my expectations. There, you have your answer. Next. Linda, I can't remind you of the cracker ingredients, but they are fully recorded in the previous live. Oh God, the gas is coming up. It's gonna go out one hole or the other. Are there any good movies that you can share? I have a lot of favorite movies. What genre are you into? Is there a higher power? Yes. It's called money, unfortunately. And according to the book that Aaron's been reading, it's called Technique. It is basically the invisible hand that we have created into a monster that now is the moving mechanism of our entire world. It is the mechanism of capitalism. It is invisible and inbred into all of our beings now. My 3 favorite recent movies regarding relationships are The Lobster, Burning, and Worst Person in the World. If you want something a little more twisted, dark, sexy, and slightly gory, Piercing is a really good one. It's kind of short. Zombie related is not my genre, unfortunately. Sorry. Psychological thrillers. I'm into it, but I don't watch a lot of those. We are moving next week, and I'm dreading it. Tips: pack a little at a time. And throw out more things than you think you need to, or give them away. The Patient is a show, right? I like it. Horror, I like It Follows, The Babadook, and The Witch. Lobster Burning, and Worst Person in the World is the third one. Favorite documentary? To My Son Zachary, I think. Is that the name? You're getting chickens. I'm jealous. I would love chickens. I have seen Don't Look Up. That's the Netflix one with like fucking Meryl Streep and Jonah Hill and literally everyone, right? I didn't love it. I don't think I will ever touch Hereditary. That type of movie looks just way too intense. I have not seen that Korean series at all. Nope. Wait! Henry Cavill is not going to be in The Witcher anymore? Oh, okay, yes. Jenny Gammy came through with the real title. Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father. That is one of the most heartbreaking documentaries ever. Damn it! Damn it! Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher. My heart definitely just shattered. Now I'm sad. That was the only fantasy series I liked. Liam? Which Liam? Not that Liam. No, I'm not gonna be watching that show anymore. Fuck it. I can't deal with changes on main characters like this. Like, when they switch out Spider-Mans, I'm just like, no. It's already fantasy. How are you going to fantasy if you don't keep the fantasy consistent? Then I'm gonna realize, oh yeah, that's a fantasy now. Can't get into it anymore. That sucks. Oh well. Yeah. Very sad. Very sad. I'm gonna load the dishwasher. And I'm going to hope that the soap comes through in time for my next load. Do you guys rinse before you put it in? Or no? Do you trust your dishwasher to get rid of like scummy bits? Or should I wipe it? No, you don't rinse. Wow. You soak. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I can't stop using the devil, Dan. It comes with staying alive. You always use the devil when you stay alive. Plot twist, God didn't make us, the devil did. Anyway, pie time. And then maybe chocolate for my cavity. What tea should we make? Earl Grey at this hour? You are insane. Insane. I have been asked this question by several people. I will tell you that it can be very triggering for somebody with disordered eating to receive this question. How can you eat so much and stay so skinny? It is genetics. Most of the time. That's it. I don't have answers for you. Sorry. Yeah, you can starve yourself, or you can work yourself out until you are frail and diseased in the mind and body sometimes. Which a lot of our society does, but there's no magic. You either have the genes or you don't. That's it. Please stop asking that question. I don't walk anywhere anymore. I'm sick. I haven't gone out. So if, you know, like, I haven't worked out for 5 days, I've been eating like crap, but I'm also sick. So I guess you can also get yourself some COVID. Is it ever justified to hurt others? Again, with the greatest hits of existential questions, I would say yes, it is. Because the word justification implies a human concept of right and wrong. And human concepts can be distorted and abused and manipulated by the individual exerting their power of interpretation. So you can always justify hurting someone else, because justification is a human behavior and a reification of a concept that does not exist in nature. We have 23% battery. Ask all of your existential questions now, or we'll have to wait another 24 hours if I live to tomorrow. What's my favorite soup? It is the beef and radish soup at Payul. It is one of the few places that I went to eat with Mom at, and I love that soup. Do all people deserve respect? No, nobody deserves respect. Nobody deserves shit. Cornbread cracker, I don't have cornmeal, so that'll have to wait until after I'm done getting COVID and reincarnating into another iteration of myself. Did you exist before you were born? I don't think I'm the right person to ask. May the NyQuil be with me. I don't have NyQuil, but yes, last night I felt good enough about my cough that I finally smoked some weed and I managed to sleep until 4:30 instead of 3:30, and then fell very promptly back to sleep until 6:30, at which point I woke up. So, yeah, are you in a philosophy course or what? What kind of paper is making you write so many different questions? How do you get used to tougher meats? Instant Pot? You can make some weed brownies. I don't like edibles. They hit me very weirdly, and I don't like it. What is the value in respect to nature? What? That question doesn't make grammatical sense to me, so I can't process, sorry. You soften tougher meats by slicing them really, really thin. You can velvet them with a little bit of salt, agent, and cornstarch and oil and let them marinate for a few hours. Or you can chunk them up and Instant Pot them until they fall apart into mush. How do you cook tripe? I don't. Why do we suffer? Because you keep asking questions like this. Because you think too hard. Thinking too hard causes cognitive dissonance between existence and imagination. And the further distance you gain between those two states of being, the more split you turn your selfhood into. And the more fragmented you become, the harder it is to follow experience. And when you are trying to shepherd various different selves that may or may not become conflicting selves, that causes suffering. Yeah, I also thought I was dying when I ate a wheat brownie. I ate way too much of it, honestly. It felt so awful. Any food texture that you cannot stand? Fat. Like a whole glob of butter would be just disgusting. You grew today just now? How do you cook beef aorta? Never had beef heart. Sorry. Do we choose our emotions or do they just happen? Both. Depends on how much therapy you've had. Depends on how well you know yourself. Depends on if you try to prune yourself to be a certain type of tree when you're actually just a weed. Just let yourself be free. It's actually not that hard, but it might be scary because everybody keeps telling you to not. But they're actually just scared themselves. Where do emotions come from? Well, my son, you see, they come from this primal instinct to protect ourselves. How they develop depends on both genetics, culture, socializing, taboos, the social contract, and how much conflicting schools of thought you were injected with, resulting in different fractionals of trauma. Or you can listen to a scientist tell you where emotions come from, but they also don't know shit. They can tell you exactly where that nerve is firing from, but what's the relevance of that? In college, my English professor used to say, when you write an essay, you present the what and the so what. The what is your thesis? Like, what is this book about? But once you present your thesis, you have to explain the so what, which is the significance. This book is about love. So what? Why is that important? Science has a lot of the whats. I'm not sure science has a lot of the so whats. So, is ignorance really bliss? Yeah, it really is. It really is. Because just think about when you were 2 years old. The ratio of happy memories, no memories, and bad memories versus when you were 12 years old, versus when you were 22 years old, versus when you were 32 years old. How does that ratio change over time? I'm not following the fucking World Cup. The Blood Cup, rather. Philosophy doesn't get at truth. And I would say science doesn't get at fact either. I think both are inquiries towards satisfying our curiosity that then cements itself into a burden. And both science and philosophy are our species' attempts to unburden ourselves. But I think it's a masochistic endeavor. The harder you struggle, the further you sink. Sometimes the faster too. Is one human life worth more than another? I think so. Sometimes. But again, worth is irrelevant in our world. So it depends on who you're asking. Guys, my battery's about to run out. I've bullshitted enough. My stomach really hurts. I really want to fart. Why can't we love and hate someone at the same time? Because love and hate are not actually the emotions that we're feeling. The emotion that we're feeling is a sense of security and insecurity. And insecurity and security are probably two sides of the same coin. They trigger love and hate. Are we obligated to help others? We're not obligated to do shit, as we've made plenty clear as a society, am I right? But I do believe I am obligated to go fart right now. Otherwise, I might really die. So, thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed eating mush and crunch. And maybe tomorrow I'll do a little COVID test on the live. I don't know why, because you guys like to see all the weird shit, including putting cotton swabs up my nostril. Weirdos.